You don't know what goes on in the spirit when you begin to pray. And when you pray consistently.
You don't know if God is using your prayer to bring an awakening somewhere else. You have no idea what, especially when you're praying in the spirit.
Maybe we shall meet in heaven. And maybe someone tells you revived me. And say, when? When you had that fast. Because this pastor and the 20 women didn't know what they were doing. They're just doing it and doing it. But now in the Oka, they could realize all these men that had backslidden, that were not praying, suddenly they could wake up. And when they investigate what is starting,
Reviving them.
it would be located, traced back to this place.
So by the time you're in this convention, the church has gone past 40 days. And then
They have 20. By the time I returned, they had only 22 days remaining
22 days.
to meet. And listen to this. So what I learned that they said, if they go on with their prayer until the 90 days, they were going to be in charge. We were not going to operate anywhere for the next 70 years. So in other words, they were generating power that could take a 70 years revival.
And so if they reach day 90,
Their covenant.
they would have, they were able to capture, so to speak, the spirit realm and stop satanic activity
For 70 years.
70 years.
According to how the leaders had mapped and said, if they can continue like this and finish their covenant, they are going to secure the gates of the spirit realm and stop satanic operation in the spirit realm for 70 years. And so they were telling me we have to do whatever it is to make sure they don't stop that.
So this is where you're recruited. Now, by this point, have they sent all the people to try to break up this church?
They've sent, actually they were telling me many have been converted. All many are dead.
Many have been converted.
All others are dead. So after trying all the trusted one, now they come to me and say, we know you can't do that because for you don't have human feelings. You cannot be you can do this. So how much money do you need? What do you need? But you have to stop them because they have only 22 days remaining and you have to break it before they come to the last day. So they tell me, you are going back to Uganda, not to attack these people, because if you attack them, you'll die. Not to fight them. If you fight them, you'll die. Find a way how you can just interfere with their covenant. Don't attack. Don't fight them. Find a way you can cause at least one of them to be out of covenant.
And so you go back and you were given some money to do this, to research.
What I'm trying, let me say this. This is very important because we may miss the point. How the spirit realm operates, especially the power of covenant. Many believers, we work together, we are in church, but we're not covenant. It doesn't matter how many hours you pray or how many you are, as long as you're not in covenant, it doesn't make any effect. If two only are in agreement, that's enough. You can be 1,000, but no covenant. And today, in the years of being in church, I've discovered people do not understand covenant living, covenant lifestyle, even the covenant with God. Many Christians are not walking a covenant life. It's like, I'm a Christian, I go to church as I feel, as I like. There's no valid covenant. And in the spirit realm, it's about the covenant. So this group, the 20 women, there were many pastors in the city, there were many in the nation, but these ones had a covenant and they were strong in that covenant. And the enemy, the devils and his agents, they attack covenant. That's why when you rise to pray, to serve the Lord, to take over the territory, the first attack will be on your marriage. Break the covenant. Because the enemy knows the only thing that gives you power is your covenant life. So it breaks your marriage, you are out of covenant with your wife, your marriage breaks, then you've lost the power. Even in church, you break covenant, you don't agree with.
So for those that are not married, that are not in a covenant relationship like marriage, covenant could be in the context of relationships, as in how you relate with your brothers and your sisters in faith.
In faith.
Yes.
And the enemy will come and break the covenant, and then you scatter. Then you go and start another church or you start another ministry.
This goes back to the whole thing of, was it 95 or 96 with John Mulendi, and what was surrounding him was that covenanting, that covenant relationship. was empowering his ministry. So it doesn't matter how powerful you are as a lone ranger intercessor, if there are not covenant relationships around you, it actually affects your effectiveness, or you're not going to be able to be effective.
Man is a spirit, and spirits never work in isolation. That's a principle of the spirit. No spirit works, even God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's a principle. So you can't be a lone intercessor and work. You must be connected to others. That's a covenant. That's why even God, when he's working with us, he came to Abraham and said, this is my covenant with you. After 20 years of work with Abraham, he returns and said, by the way, you cannot go on this. But the Lord tells Abraham, walk before me and be blameless.
Yes.
And this is my covenant with you because of the covenant. So these, I was talking about the pastor and the women. So they have a covenant. And I'm told, when you go, how much money do you need? I say, okay. They give me the money. They needed like $500,000. And then they say, you can access around 300,000 to use in the operation of only 21 days if you needed money. And they say, but don't attack. Don't fight, because you will die or you'll be converted. I did not attack. I did not fight. But whatever I did, I end up being converted.
That was the meeting that caused you to be converted. However, you did succeed.
I'm coming.
Okay. He did succeed in breaking that church's prayer meeting, and the way he did it would blow your mind. So you need to listen to this. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. So when I returned home, in that meeting, we were given books, big books that had been written about each member of that group.
What?
Books about their background, their weaknesses, their history, their families, in order to read them, to know, at least find out what is the pattern in their background, which we can use at least against one. So like they had investigated their families, their foundations.
You were giving books of research for each person in the whole group.
The young man, the pastor, what the book I was given was 500 pages about him, like 10 generations behind him. To read and say, read this and find out what are the patterns, what are the...
And generations in. See, so sometimes when we teach, you say, the Bible says the enemy runs to and fro. He also runs up and down generational lines, finding any legal ground. 500 pages.
So I had to read and see patterns in the ancestors, in his life, in all this and this, so that we can know, okay, if these patterns are there, legal rights that we can use against him. Are there things I can use against him or among the members? So one of the lady who was the one who could see in the spirit had an issue. So as in covenant, had an issue of unforgiveness. She was bitter towards her mother. And I remember when we were going to say, okay, this one will be a gate. Wow. Let's try this one. Let's not attack. Let's go and see if we can use this bitterness to break their covenant. Because this, we can trace, it has been in the generation, and her and the mother are not okay. So that she's bitter towards the mother. And by the way, the mother was dead by that time, but the mother died when this intercessor, who is a seer, remained wounded. So the woundedness and the bitterness, after investigating, we realized, okay, I think let's try. So I returned to Uganda. I called my trusted girls. I had girls I used to work with. I said, we have this assignment. If we win this, all of us are going to be elevated worldwide. We're going to take titles. We're going to become like grandmasters if we win. But if we fail, for me, if you fail, the sacrifice will take from you will be your mother. So they say, either you lose your mother or you win this battle. Because I had that attachment, though my mother, so they said, okay, your mother. And each one of them had to offer a relative, with a father, a brother, someone that if you fail, that one will die.
You were sent back. So you're saying each of the people in the team you gathered had to offer a relative as well.
Yes. So that's so I return, I sit with them and we get a strategy. After reading them, say, okay, we're going to try. 2 of you will try to go and join, not attack and join. If they allow you to join, they have broken the covenant.
And this is the other thing, was part of their covenant that no one would join them?
No one joined them. They said, we have agreed, the 20 of us and our pastor, to fast and pray the 6 hours every day for 90 days. That was the covenant. So my assignment, I said, okay, when I return, I talked to them. For me, I was to go somewhere under the sky and sit there and enchant day and night for all the days of the 21, where they're on not mission. So I was not going to see any human being or eat or be under a roof, but sit under an open sky and keep enchanting and chanting and speaking curses and curses.
Curses over each member of the group?
Yes, but not mentioning their name, but just sending them. You never know, that one may land, because a curse without cause does not alight. So just send thousands. That was my assignment. Now, one of the guys had to go and try to join. So you go. If they allow you to join, now we know we can break the covenant. So we bought her a new car, give her some money to go and join the church. So he comes to the church, the first day he comes, and comes to the young man, the pastor, and says, I feel God is telling me to come and join you. So the pastor is about to discern. Then the lady who is offended by the seer comes to tell the pastor, wait, I sense that person coming is not right of God. Then this girl tells her, but you know, why are you chasing me away? But by the way, you talk like you're mad.
She's just poked at that wound. Oh my goodness, Lord.
And the moment said that,
she just went into the flesh.
In the flesh.
Listen, we all need to repent right now.
So the moment she went in the flesh, now the moment she's in the anger, don't talk language. You a witch.
The curses landed.
And
Oh my God.
all of them now are under that curse. So she exposed all the team.
So wait. Just need to breathe for a moment. Because I don't know about you watching, but there's times I've responded in the flesh. Because the flesh is the open door for the enemy to shut down things of the spirit. My goodness.
It's what, when I do the training for the inner sense, that's what I say.
Flesh. Anger. Unhealed wounds. Issues unresolved. And you wanted to see revival, you have to, oh my God.
This group, they're going high in the spirit, but there's this unresolved issue. And I'm wondering why they ignored it. They didn't want to. They were so, I kept wondering even right now, why do they discern these wounds to deal with as they're going into this assignment? Why did not deal with it? Because it was so simple. I said, wait a minute. When this girl came in and now offended her, she answered and abused. Remember, even in the book of Jude, when you say even Michael could not bring insults when they were contending for the blood of Moses. So she insulted this girl. And now remember, there are thousands of curses flying around. Now when he insulted the pastor, the young man, because he was young, this one old, he looked at this girl as a peer, like God has answered my prayer, has brought someone who speaks the same language.
Wait, what did she say to him, apart from God has called me to join the group?
And pray.
So he just felt like she was part of them. No. He didn't discern where she was coming from. Because she was the seer of the group, and he didn't have the discernment at that moment. And she was probably about to warn him, and then she poked at her wound, and then she was in the flesh, and then the curses landed, and then now what happened at that point?
Now, so when remember, she's offended now. They were faith. So the young man, because could not listen to her, the pastor, like trying to mend things. Don't be so hard on someone. Said, okay, it's okay. You can sit around. Let's finish praying, and I will talk to you. And the other one is angry because now has offended her. Now remember
The covenant, the breach.
And so after the meeting, they prayed like you. She's there, and then the time of offering came, and she gave like 500,000, like 500,000 Uganda shillings.
Okay, and that's the kind of money they've never seen before.
Now in this place, like the offering is like $1, and someone is giving like $200, and now like the pastor but I had told her when I was reading the life of this pastor, they had shared issues with money.
The pastor had some struggles with finances.
So it was something he used to poverty. So even in his messages, you could hear, though he was speaking against money, but he loved it. Like you could say, money bad, someone, you speak against something, but deep inside you could tell it's because he fears it. He has issues with it. So we knew if we can introduce money, we see how he will respond. So this girl gave 500,000. Remember she has come with a new car, and some people in a part of the world, a car is something big. So he receives the money.
So the covenant is not just broken; she's now got a foothold.
A foothold because of the money. And now the rest of the team are like saying, "But God told us not to take." So no, God has blessed us. So there's that disagreement because of the money. She leaves. She comes in and says, they've received the money. And I told her, as long as they've received the money, now we need to interfere with their worship. Because now they can't reject you. So she goes the second day, and then she comes with a friend, another girl, they introduced to the pastor, pastor, this is my friend. She also wants to join. Now the pastor has forgotten the covenant. Now he's seeing like growth. God is bringing new members. And so, she's a worshiper. Can you let her join and lead in 2 songs? And the moment she came on the altar to lead a song, polluted the altar, we knew we had overcome it.
Wow. Now, there was another side you also attacked.
I'm coming.
Okay. Because I want you to, because that's the one I remember vividly. Okay, you're going to come to that with his daughter.
So the pastor, now he was still with them, but we knew we had to separate him from the group. And how could we separate him? We had to make sure his sensitivity in the spirit is lowered. Now, where was he getting his sensitivity? Every morning he could have a morning time to pray and go through healing, like morning devotion. That was what made him strong every day. So I was telling Michael, look, now if we have to find a way of interfering with his quiet time, because that's where he has the strength. If we can interfere there's a covenant with the people, but there's a personal covenant with God. Because on the